Hello and welcome back to the Multi and Intermediary Agency Supplemental Webinar Reviewer Training. We are going to make this really quick and as painless as possible, as I know that you've already sat through 47 minutes of webinar. So first, just to get started, there'll be two sections. The first part will be reviewing multi-agency supplements, and the second part will be the intermediary. So most of you will be doing multi-agency reviews. Be sure to check the agency cover sheet to determine if you are doing multi or intermediary. Each of these supplemental applications has a maximum of 4 pages. We have already reviewed that, so you should not have any supplemental applications that exceed 4 pages in length. Okay, so to begin with multi-agency, it will start here. Just a few things to review right up front. First of all, any agency who applied for multi-agency, they need to have there are three key qualifications that we want you to know about. First of all, this is an established collaborative partnership, and it's between 2 or more agencies with a minimum of 3 years operating experience. One of those agencies will be the lead agency, and they will subcontract with the other partner agencies. The lead agency is the one who will receive the funding if they are approved and qualify for funding. The lead agency is the name that you'll see on the agency cover sheet, and that organization will serve as the liaison to TGYS and submit all the required reports, manage all fiscal procedures, and conduct program monitoring and evaluations with their partner agencies. So we're going to jump right into the rubric. In the multi-agency rubric, you will have 3 sections to review. The first section is section A, which is worth 10 points, and there are 4 line items. And again, this is just like how we did the main application. You're going to score exactly the same way. You're going to look at each line item and score it based on whether all criteria has been met, partial criteria has been met, or no criteria. And what we've done is we've just created some examples for each section, and rather than read through them, I'm just going to give you a couple of highlights, but we give you a met all criteria example for each line item. So for number 1, which is describe the benefits and successes of your formal collaborative, we give you an example here where they list the names of the people in the collaborative. They talk about the ages that have been served and the location of the communities that they're serving, as well as provide a brief history of their organization. In number 2, they're asking they're supposed to explain the barriers and challenges related to the collaborative, and then also how they will address those. So the key piece there is not only should they be addressing the barriers and explaining those to us, but we want to know how they will be addressing these going forward, or how they have in the past and will continue to do so. So I'll let you read through those examples when you start working on the review. Number 3 in section A is describe how your collaborative communicates, including mechanisms and frequency of communications amongst the partner agencies. And again, we want to make sure that they tell us the frequency. So in this example, they talk about monthly groups, and that they talk about strategic planning and collaboration. This might be nice if they had a little more information in this one, but it would still meet all the criteria, as it's only worth 1 point for number 3. Number 4 is describe the strategic planning process for your collaborative and how decisions related to partner agencies and programs are made. So again, just what has been the planning process and how they make decisions, who helps make those decisions, is it based on the needs of the youth that are being served and the community. So again, only worth 3 points. All right, section B, goals, outcomes, and evaluations. This is only worth 4 points, so this should be pretty quick. Again, we've given you 2 examples, one for each line item. The first one is to list the joint goals and outcomes of your collaborative. So again, it's 2 parts. They need to make sure that they have the goals and the expected outcomes. In this line item, they may state that you can refer to the SOW for specific outcomes, and that is acceptable. So you may want to have that statement of work out to help review number 1. Number 2 is met all criteria is describing the process of evaluating the collaborative and the results of the evaluation. So again, 2 parts, the process and the results should be included in part 2. Moving right along to section C, which is agency capacity. This is worth 6 points. Number 1 is just describe the history of the collaborative. So we've given you, again, 3 examples of met all criteria. The first one, they're specific about how they started and then give you a little bit of history about what's changed over the past 10 years of their existence. For number 2, they're to explain how the collaborative will conduct program monitoring of their partner agencies and coordinate the evaluations to align with TGYS reporting. So in number 2, it's important that they explain if they have a tool that they're using, what is that tool that would be helpful to have, although it doesn't state that specifically, but that should be part of their program monitoring, who will be doing the monitoring, and how they will coordinate that to make sure that all of that information is provided to TGYS. Number 3 is to explain how their collaborative will manage and coordinate TGYS fiscal procedures for their partner agencies. So again, we want to know who the person is in the lead agency that will coordinate this and how they will ensure that they fulfill all of the contractual and financial obligations required of them. Okay, so that's it for multi-agency. One thing I forgot to mention was you will only be doing this once. So unlike the programs that you were reviewing for the agencies before where you reviewed each program, this is a one-time review of the supplemental application for multi or intermediary agencies. So it's one time, and that is included on your score sheet as well. Okay, for those of you, there are a handful of you who are doing intermediary agencies. Intermediary agencies are just slightly different than multi-agencies. These are agencies that are providing support to partner agencies based on a very specific evidence-based strategy or program. So it will be one lead agency, and there could be many partner agencies, and this is where the lead agency will be supporting the partner agency in all of the things listed in number 3, which includes their preparation and program implementation, training, technical assistance, the program monitoring, coordinating the evaluations, and the financial administration as well. For these organizations, they need to have a minimum of 5 years of experience together. Okay, section A is about services and collaboration, and this is worth 8 points. So number 1 is just describe a typical partner agency's prior history of delivering the related services and their experience in providing services to the target population. So again, we've just given you examples where they've met all the criteria for each of these line items. And number 1, again, it's just historical information and what their past experiences are for their communities. For number 2, they are to describe the learned benefits and successes of their role as the intermediary partner. And so what have they learned in the past that has both benefited them and also created some success in their organization, in their role as in their intermediary partner role. Number 3 is explain barriers or challenges that the agency has experienced or anticipates experiencing by providing intermediary services. So again, they're going to explain what their challenges have been, and then they would also explain what they've done for those or how they have worked to overcome some of those barriers or challenges or plan to overcome those. All right, moving along to section B. This is worth 12 points. And again, we've given examples for the last 2, but not number 1. As you can see, number 1 lists several items that need to be included. And this one's pretty self-explanatory. The agency needs to describe their capacity to provide all of the services listed. If they, for some reason, do not address one of these items, then it would be only partially met criteria and a score of 4. They need to address each bullet point listed in number 1. For number 2, they need to explain the agency's program monitoring process of their partner agencies and how they're going to coordinate that with the TGYS requirements. So again, 2-part, how they monitor and then how they'll report back. So they ideally will tell us who will be doing the reporting and the monitoring. So in this example, they specifically state that the program manager will be doing that. So hopefully they will list the specific person each time. And then number 3, similar question. This is explaining the agency's process for distributing funds. So we want each step described and how they'll distribute funds to their partner agencies. And this is a great example because it does a step-by-step of what happens from the time that their partner agency submits the request to them to the point of submitting the expense to TGYS for reimbursement. So very specific and meets all the criteria for number 3. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to call or email me. I'm happy to try to explain or provide any additional information you may need to evaluate the supplemental applications. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.